For the broker,
Mm-hmm.
they have some tests that they will say like arraignment.
Arraignment. That means law. Yeah, pleading.
Arraignment is only two things. One is guilty and non guilty.
Not guilty. Pleading.
And after the arraignment, then the court is going to do an attachment, attaching the legal basis, whether it is a legal fraud or not, or attach the property of both parties, personal, real property, whatever. And
Personal
during
property
or real property.
real.
But during this period, we call this lis pendens. It is like a Latin word.
This and this.
What does it mean by it's called lawsuit? It's pending.
Pending.
When we finish it, the judge is going to give what we call a judgment. But the judgment itself, sometimes, even though there is a judgment, let's say like the spousal support, the husband do not pay the wife, then they are going to file one we call execution, so as to execute the judgment. Couple things as a broker need to remember. First of all, the statute of limitation of judgment is 10 years. Second, we have all these word called jury. We call this jury.
Uh-huh.
Who is the person? The person who is on trial.
On trial is
Like the 12 people that sit on trial, and then they decided whether that case is guilty or not guilty. They have judge.
jurors. 12 jurors, right?
Yeah, 12, 7. They have a judge. Judge is the person who is in the court,
Yeah,
who decided.
Which one is
They have one more
admissible or not?
jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction is the area, the location.
Jurisdiction, it means that whether that judge
County.
has no has the area, has the scope,
Scope of the
whether
authority.
the judge have the scope to make the judgment. Sometimes it is out of that judge's decision, so he doesn't have the jurisdiction. So all these are JUR. There is one more called judicial proceeding.
Uh-huh.
We have judicial proceeding when we are talking about mortgage. Mortgage, before it used to have, if there is any people arguing, they need to pass through the judicial proceeding. So all these JURD is means the law. And for law, it is statute, law, act, map, ordinance, resolution, constitution. In fact, the real estate, they are the same. It doesn't matter. I mean, of course, later on, if you want, I can tell you the difference. But you
Again,
can just
repeat that. Pen, law, and
law, statute, constitute,
Constitution.
map, act, resolution.
Map? Map?
Sorry. Land law.
Landlord?
Map Act. Map Act is one word. Subdivision Map Act or subdivided land law. So here, execution in the real estate, all we need to remember is executed and executory. This we remember this is about contract. In the contract law, some of them are executed, which is completed. Some of them is executory, which is still not complete. Other word that we need to remember is executor and executress. This it is like a will. When the one who execute the will, but it is named inside that will, it's called executed. That's why contract is when you are alive. Will is when you are dead.
After death.
You see, and here executed, of course, you can do appeal. Appeal sometimes back, But here also it is called right. For right, you need to remember order, abstract, right. All of these words are nearly the same. And what we call like a right of execution, a right of judgment, or maybe for unlawful detainer action. Action it actually means like a lawsuit. Then it is like a right of possession, whether you can possess it back or not. But here, I want you to remember two words: action and motion. You are filing a motion, things like that. And remember today we learned one word, which is what we call demur.
Demur.
Demur. Demur is a wall.
Objection.
Demur it means that putting a wall.
War.
A wall. Mur, le mur is a French word le mur. So you're putting a wall over there, so you are objecting someone. Here is the plaintiff. And here is the defendant.
The defendant is the one who's demurring the plaintiff.
Because you are defending, so it's called defendant. Of course, other than these two words, we can also have a lot of person. First is petitioner, and also we can also add another word, claimant. Claimant is the person who claims. Petitioner is a person who file a petition. They are nearly the same, the one who initiate. So with all these, we have also like two more words, which is called disposition.
Disposition of the statement.
Affidavit, disposition.
Witness. Yeah.
Affidavit is under oath.
Yeah.
Disposition. These are in the beginning, like their words. But since we need to either notarize it, or acknowledge. Acknowledge, it means that this is true. Some people who are not religious, they cannot put their hands in the Bible. And so the judge just tell, okay, you acknowledge it. And so notary, acknowledge, or under oath. If you are under oath, you have to tell anything which is, otherwise you will be under perjury.
Perjury means lying.
Lie against. So these things are like a process, so as to do everything before. And these words, affidavits, disposition, notary, acknowledge,
Notary.
oath, perjury,
Notary is the guy who.
constitution.
What
Notary
does
is the guy
who will
who got a
attest.
license, and then they have a notary book. The person who come just have the ID shown and sign their name.
Just to authenticate the document, right?
Authenticate the signature, not even the document. If the document is not right or wrong, the notary doesn't have the liability at all, as long as the ID is the same person who signed. So that the signee is not the signer is not being replaced or substituted by any other fake people. So here is judgment, jury, judge, and there is one more called default judgment, and also summary judgment. Summary judgment is just a very basic line. Default judgment is when there is either one side, most likely is the defendant, absent, then it go to the default. And these two judgments, the default judgment can be categorized by the clerk default judgment or the court default judgment. So these are judgment, which is over
judgment of default.
Sorry?
It's default.
Default, it means
It means something, right?
something which go because of
It's a failure.
something. No, somebody didn't appear.